Welcome back to Burden of Proof, and last time, oh boy, things went down. I suppose we're still in Chapter 5, wherein sorta our first case went horribly wrong and then things got worse. And now we're on trial for murder of our good friend Fletcher. And this is our trial. This is our judge now. There was a lot last video without the judge threatening to revoke our badge near the end of that trial. And yeah, it's... really think that and the presence of the obviously biased counselors are a way of working in the flaws of a human-run court system. The points where being too human can get the better of you. And now hopefully we're going to see the flaws of a completely artificial intelligence run trial. I feel like the natural endgame of this is some kind of balance between the two. But then again, I wasn't expecting just government strong-arming, so here we are. This is the trial for the murder of Sarah Fletcher. Would the prosecution make their statement? There, if you would. I don't have all day. Ooh, crime details. Please tell us what your team found at the crime scene. Alright, we're getting right to it. The victim was Sarah Fletcher. She was a wanted criminal and was recently convicted of a crime. We found her body under a bridge. Is that where she died? Probably. There was no blood anywhere, but right near where the body was. And the autopsy. I have it right here. Alright. Let's see. So she died from a stab wound in the stomach. And the weapon was a plated object. Yep, it was probably that sword that was found near the body. The sword that appeared in Vilmar's murder. It was used to kill Sarah. Explain to the court what else was found near the body. Okay. That's not right. Are you feeling well? Ah, there was something else found near the body. Ooh, okay. Please do not attempt for a petty attempt at humor. Just be careful when objecting. Oops. We found a pistol near the body as well. It's the same one that was thrown into the fountain where Vilmar died. And no new shots were fired from it, correct? Yep, so someone must have moved it from the airport lobby to the bridge. The same goes for the sword. I wonder, just how did Fletcher get to the bridge in the first place? Oh yeah, wasn't she at the detention center? My records indicate she mobilized north about 5:35 p.m. on the day of her murder. What? How can you know that? Ace has a GPS tracking program that lets him track individuals with implants. Huh? And you can just look up her path and we'll know how she got there. Negative. Shortly after 5:35, my GPS system went offline. Offline? How did that happen? It was disabled remotely. I can turn it back on if it is relevant to this trial. Who? Who disabled it? It was the defendant, Conrad Cross. Oops. Huh? I did? You were logged in remotely through a tablet on the day of the incident. You inquired on Fletcher's location and then disabled my GPS tracking. Oh, what? I don't remember that. Then you logged off. I was unable to track any positions during the incident. Then you must have a record of inquiries up to today. Processing. I have no records between that time and afternoon yesterday. Let's see. This is very suspicious behavior for the defendant. Conrad, I still believe in you. At this rate, I don't even believe in myself. So somehow, Fletcher escaped from the detention center and ended up at the bridge. That's a bit vague. This is all my fault. Why did it turn out this way? Conrad, you have to keep trying. Don't give up. Huh. It is the prosecution's belief that the defendant interrupted Fletcher's convoy. Convoy? I suppose now is the correct time to mention this. My organization was transporting the criminal to a secure location. Don't worry, we received clearance from the Justice Department beforehand. It was a security detail. There were 2 vehicles with several armed guards. And how exactly would Cross have stopped it? Simple. He created a diversion. Hold on. It's defense's belief that the defendant, that I passed out due to being drugged. That's why I must have forgotten that I disabled the GPS tracking. Sadly, that isn't the case, Conrad. When you were arrested, we ran several tests on you, including blood analysis, and found that there were no traces of drugs or sleeping agents in your system. But according to what you said earlier, you can't remember events after 5:35 p.m. You were found unconscious at the bridge after 6 p.m. the next day. Stab wound, no exit wound. Wrists were bound by rope at one point. Don't know where this is going. Any substance that was able to knock you out for over 12 hours would have been found. But is it still possible that I passed out due to stress or some other factor? Perhaps, but not for a whole 12 hours. Even if you did, then if nobody had malicious intent against you, how did you end up at the bridge? That's right. At some point I would have gone there of my own accord. I see. It should be clear that there are actions the accused took that he does not remember. Which is why I will now tell the court about a second incident that occurred. That second incident? Really? For convenience, let us refer to this map. Fletcher's convoy had left the detention center around 5:30. They made a quick stop at the town center, then continued north. However, they were halted near the parking garage by a bomb threat. Bomb threat? Yep, I think you'll recognize this. Fake bomb and van. Oh, that's the fake bomb for the terrorist incident. Someone parked the van right in the middle of the road. Oh. Naturally, the convoy thought it was real, so they stopped. Then they heard gunshots. Gunshots? Several guards went to investigate and found this. Blank pistol. Oh, that gun is for the robbery case. Wow, it all comes together now. Oh boy. Indeed, it was used by Fletcher to threaten Miss Towers. That's the one that contained blank shots instead of bullets. He fired 2 shots. No shooter was found. No fingerprints either, but we did find this. From case 1, the tripod for the Gardner case. All these items are returning. Why? The tripod was found on its side next to the gun. Conrad, would you happen to know how this gun was fired? Remotely, naturally. The gun was fired remotely. And how is this possible? There's a trick to operating pistols at a distance. First, the gun needed to be mounted on this item. Okay. Was this tripod? In the Gardner case, there was a gun mounted to that tripod. With the press of a button, someone could fire the gun remotely. However, the knockback of the shot would cause the contraption to fall over. And the button was on his keys, correct? That's right. The only way to activate the mechanism was to press the button. Excellent. This is not looking good. No, it's not! You've just proven your own demise, Conrad. My own demise? Don't tell me they found... This pair of keys was found at the parking garage in a trash can. And the button had your fingerprints on it, Cross. Okay, that could be explained, maybe. If it's been in police evidence custody until then? I mean, Conrad did press it. The gun and tripod were clearly set up to distract the guards. As the defendant's fingerprints were on the button, it means he had the intention of firing that gun. I understand. This could prove that the defendant did stop the convoy. Do that, Conrad. It's all over. I'm gonna save first. I'm gonna object to that. You're jumping to conclusions way too quickly. Oh, am I really? There's no denying the fact that my fingerprints are on that button. There must be some other explanation as to how they got there. I can explain in a different context why I would have pressed that button. To demonstrate. Now, you wouldn't remember this since you were in a coma. I did press that button once before. Oh, that's right! It was around 2 years ago, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. The Gardner case, this tripod was used with a gun mounted on it. The defendant was acting strange about his keys, so I pressed the button. That's when we discovered that the tripod and the button were linked. I see. So the fingerprints remain since then. But can fingerprints even stay around for that long? Knowing nothing tampers with it is entirely possible. That set of keys was just sitting in my office all this time. In your office, you say? Yes, I keep some of the evidence from past cases. That happened to include the tripod. Ah, that's right. With the tripod and the blank pistol from the robbery case. Why would they let you keep that? We're in your office on the day of the incident. Allow me to show the court how this all makes sense. Take a look at the map again. At 5:30, the defendant was at the roof of that building on the top right. I want to ask the detective where the van with his fake bomb was. Still the dining hall parking lot. Huh? You still didn't remove the evidence from there? We've been busy. The dining hall is between that building and the parking garage. Defendant had time to run there and steal the van. Then he just had to drive to his office and pick up the tripod, pistol, and keys. Why would the van be there with the keys in it? And where's your proof? This is just speculation. Figured you'd be stubborn like this. So I called a special witness that should clear up any doubts you may have. Please bring in your witness. You again. Huh? Miss Flowers? Ah, I'm on time! Yes. Could you please give the court your testimony? Ah, sure thing. In the trouble? Where were you at 6 p.m. on the day of the incident? I was at my office. Your office? Wasn't it blown to bits by a bomb? Yes, but we've already started reconstruction. Can't stand being late for anything, so I showed up to pay my respects. To your destroyed building. What did you see while you were there? Well, I saw that van pull up in front of the parking garage. And then someone stepped out of it. And who was this person? I'm pretty sure it was you, Conrad. Me? It's hard to tell because it was at a distance. think I could make out your pointy hair spikes. What did the defendant do? Well, I didn't pay much attention to him after that. I figured you were just doing some attorney work. This is bad. Conrad, this is fine. You're on trial for murder, not stopping a convoy. It's not the distraction part that concerns the prosecution's case. It's what came after. Thank you for your testimony, Miss Flowers. Anytime! Gotta run. I'm gonna be late. And she's gone. Processing. The testimony we just received was not the most reliable. Witness claimed to have seen the defendant at a distance. I think Nail's organization developed. It sure seems to be giving him a hard time. Hey, if it's impartial, that's a good thing. No matter. Let us assume that whoever the culprit was stole one of these vehicles. Why do you say that? Because when the guards returned after investigating the gunshot, the vehicle Fletcher was being transported in was missing. Shouldn't there have been someone watching the convoy? There was, but he was knocked unconscious with a weapon. Specifically, the rear end of this spear. Oh, alright, everything's back now. That's the spear used in the robbery case. Another item from your law office. Surely the only one that could have taken these items was you. Actually, Conrad's door is always unlocked. Oh, that's right. Anyone could have walked in and taken those things. Not very secure, are you? Just be glad you don't keep any dangerous evidence in there. Or else you could have bigger problems. Regardless, the guard was knocked out cold due to being hit by the spear. It was found on the floor next to him when the others returned. So, what happened to Fletcher? She was handcuffed to the back of an armored vehicle. The culprit drove that vehicle to get her away from the convoy. But the question is, where was she driven to? To answer that question, I've called another witness. Another? This case is bigger than I originally thought. Yeah, no kidding. Please begin your witness. This trial so far has just been a lot of exposition, really. Greetings, lads. Oh, Thorn. Yep, I'm the witness. Please tell us your situation. Right. I've been granted immunity from a certain action I took. Immunity? In a previous case, this prosecutor had collaborated with the defendant. A terrorist incident at the dining hall. Thorn went easy on Chloe. Tried to stall for time and let Conrad win, right? But how is that relevant to this case? Well, it'll be clear in a moment. Please, tell us what happened. A threatened Thorn? Well, after 6 p.m., I received a call from a mysterious person. Mysterious person? Who was it? The individual was using a voice modulator to disguise themselves. And they threatened me. Huh? How? They threatened to expose my actions during Chloe's trial. Would have been up for review by my mother. So that's what you were worried about? You care about your mom's opinion over your job? At any rate, the culprit had me do something. The witness will not be held accountable for the following actions. As part of his agreement for testifying today. Actions? What did he do? I was told to drive Fletcher's vehicle to the airport. That is a serious clue that could lead to the culprit. Well, I didn't learn much. I panicked, so I just did as I was told. Where did you pick up the vehicle? It was at the town center. That's right. I saw you there when I was filling out retrial papers. Right. Well, I must have been in a hurry because I was looking for the vehicle. Found it on the opposite end of the roundabout. And Fletcher inside. Did the victim say anything to you? She was arguing to bring her back to the convoy, but I didn't listen. Figured the culprit would do something if I disobeyed. This is bad. And I just drove her to the airport. Take a look at the map one more time. The culprit drove the vehicle from the parking garage, the town center. That's when Thorne received the call and drove it further to the airport. Sarah likely died at the bridge, so how did she get there? Well, when I arrived at the airport, I called the number back. Ah, did you speak to the culprit again? Yes, they were still using a voice modulator. They seemed confused, as if they didn't know I had accomplished the task. I hung up and decided to bring Fletcher inside the airport. What time was this? Around 6:30. Thought the culprit would show up any minute. Released Fletcher from her handcuffs, but bound her hands with rope. Wow. Huh? Why did you do that? If the culprit wanted her to escape, it would be a pain if she was still in handcuffs. But I also didn't want her to run off, so I had to tie her hands. I understand. Please continue. I brought her into the lobby and there was no one there. So, I panicked again and left her there. You what? Thought the caller was running late. Didn't want to stay around to find out. Took the armored vehicle from the airport and drove to the bridge. Ah, so we know how Fletcher escaped the convoy. We still don't know how she ended up at the bridge. I believe I know the answer, but let us hear the last of Thorne's story. Well, I drove the vehicle to that bridge and found you, Cross. Me again? I realize you recently lost your memory, so I'm not surprised you don't remember. You seem to be panicking and looking for Fletcher. Told you the situation, and together we searched for her. Alright, so that's our first piece. That's our first bit of evidence that it wasn't us. If we were the voice on the phone, the man who stopped the convoy, why would we be on foot looking for Fletcher? I told you the situation, and together we searched for her. Huh? 2 witnesses have spoken about me now. He drove us back to the airport, and we went inside. But she was gone. Gone. So that means the culprit must have taken her in that time that I left. Wait, if what you said is true? I did meet you at the bridge. That mean I wasn't at the airport. There's no way I could have traveled that far in the time after you left. This proves I'm innocent. Hold your horses, Conrad. Thorne simply made an assumption. It wasn't the killer that took her from the airport. It was me. Okay. Why were you at the airport? I was investigating the last case. That's incredibly suspicious. Thorne got a call that made him bring Fletcher to the airport. Where you happened to be investigating? I admit it's a coincidence, but I wasn't the only one present. My alibi can be confirmed by our next witness. Next witness? There's more! We need to have a full understanding of the incident if we are to draw any conclusions. Thorne, do you have any more to your story? No, that's all. After we found Fletcher missing, I headed back to the bridge while Cross stayed there. The plan was for you to keep searching while I called for help. Waited at the bridge for a bit and then ran into Miss Flocking. What? You were there too? Ah, I guess I was. By that point, we were helping the police search the city for Fletcher. Interesting. We requested a typed summary of your testimony to be added as evidence. Wow, that was a lot? Okay. Processing. We will take a short recess while we prepare the next witness. Court dismissed. God, that's a lot that happened that we just got completely wiped from. believe it. I don't remember anything Thorne said happened. Conrad, am I even innocent? Maybe I really did commit the crime. You need to believe in yourself. Don't give up. Keep fighting. You're right. As long as we don't give up. We won't give up until the bitter end. Stay strong and come up with a plan. Things been bothering me about Thorne's testimony. There's lots of details he left out. I'd imagine we don't have the time to go over everything, but I understand. I think it could be the culprit. What? Did he get a call from the culprit? Something's not adding up about our mysterious criminal. The motives don't align with wanting to kill Fletcher. You heard Thorne, right? He said the culprit wanted her to escape. Which would also point toward us, but our confusion would not point toward us, unless we were the one who picked up the phone the second time. So you think the one that freed her from the convoy wasn't her killer? I hope that's the case, because it's looking like the one that freed her was actually me. Can you really not remember anything? I think there are bits and pieces, but nothing concrete. Images of her, in the sewers of Nail. It's hard to say. Fletcher died from a stab wound in the stomach. Doesn't Thorne always carry around that sword? Ah, you don't mean... When Thorne returned to the bridge, it met you. Did you check for a body underneath? No, I didn't look. Fletcher could have already been dead. Conrad, I don't want to doubt our friends, but... There was a perfect opportunity for him to be the culprit. Thorne doesn't have a motive. Well, maybe. Maybe he got another call and was forced to kill her. And he planted evidence for the airport at the scene. It's a possibility, but is it really the correct answer? Let's just listen to Nail's next witness before we jump to conclusions. I'm not sure if the killer is Thorne, but I have to expose the truth for Sarah. Ajax? Huh? Ajax? Greetings. Court is now in session. Is this the prosecution's witness? That's correct. Ajax was at the airport with me during the incident. Affirmative. I am prepared to give my testimony. Was everybody at the crime scene? Computer leading the trial and a cyborg as a witness. Great. Please proceed. Oh boy. That day I had decided to aid Nail in his investigation at the airport. At the time, Nail was in the sewers and I was in the lobby. Why were you investigating in the first place? The Justice Department has been low on prosecutors since you left. Oh. Vilmar's death was a major incident and needed to be looked over again. Especially since the previous judge was called into question. Whoops! But something happened around 6:30, correct? Affirmative. I received a mysterious call from the culprit. Oh, really? You also got a call? A heavily modified voice said that Fletcher was at the airport. Huh. They wanted to blackmail you too? Most likely, but their plans seem to have been ruined. How so? Upon receiving this call, I went into the sewers to get Nail. Can you confirm this, prosecutor? Yes, he called for me and we both returned to the lobby to think things through. When we returned, she was there. Fletcher was in the lobby. It's at that time that I left her there with her hands tied. So just missed you. Nail decided that he would take her into custody so that she wouldn't escape. So his organization could take her, no doubt. That's when all three of us entered the sewers again. Hold on, why did you do that? It's not obvious. The culprit was luring us into a trap. Surely the culprit would have arrived any minute to kill us all, or worse. I still can't understand the motives here. We waited in the sewers for a bit, and then I returned to the lobby. I left through the front entrance to get the police. Did you see the culprit? Negative. Did you see anything else suspicious? Well, there was one thing that I think was odd now that I think about it. The security room in the lobby, the one that locks from the outside, was open when we entered the sewers with Fletcher, but closed when I returned. Huh? I didn't pay much attention to it since I was retrieving the police. This was a little after 6:45. Okay. So it's clear that someone had been there while you were in the sewers. What were you doing while this was going on, Nail? I'd taken Fletcher deeper into the sewers. To understand that Fletcher wanted to return to her cell. Why didn't you escort her to the detention center? Well, passageway was the safest option, considering there was a killer loose. Conrad, he's not telling us the whole story. Indeed. Every single witness has taken strange actions in this incident. Conrad, don't even think about it. It's true that something's not adding up. It is clear that Sarah didn't die in the sewers. For starters, there's no blood anywhere but under the bridge. And what happened to the victim after she entered the sewers? I think I have an idea. A piece of evidence should show something that happened to Sarah in the sewers. Rope. This rope was found in the sewers. If you recall, Thorne testified that he tied Sarah's hands with a rope, then brought her to the lobby. I see how this is falling into place. After Thorne left, Ajax and Nail arrived at the lobby for the sewers. And they took Fletcher into the sewers. That's when Thorne and I supposedly returned to the lobby. Then I left while you stayed behind, just in time for Ajax to return again. But I did not see Cross on my return. In addition, I left through the front entrance and did not find him outside. I think I can explain that. Was I in the security room? Simple. The security room door was closed when Ajax returned. I guess I was hiding in that room. I see. Then I guess it's my turn to say. It's incredibly suspicious. I wanted Fletcher to be safe. The culprit could have been anywhere. Ajax returned. Of course I would hide from anyone suspicious. I'm suspicious. Have you not looked in a mirror? Probably didn't want to involve anyone else in the situation. Huh. There's only proof that you intended to free Fletcher. We shall overlook that for now. So how did Fletcher get freed? It was probably Conrad's doing. Do you have any proof? How do we even know Cross was at the lobby at the time? You could have just closed the security room door, then left. The prosecution has a piece of evidence that will prove he was in that room. When the police arrived at the lobby, they found something strange. Blood was found on the floor near the window shards of the security room. Blood? So someone got hurt? Most likely due to climbing through the window that was broken. If you recall, the security room door only locks from the outside. So anyone who was in that room had to leave through the window. Oh wow. Music getting intense. Indeed, an analysis revealed that the blood on the window was yours, Conrad. Ah, what? Okay, more things that we did that we don't remember. Here's the report. Are you satisfied? Blood was at the lobby. What could it be? Cuts on my hands. Broken glass of the window was enough to wound Conrad's hands. This sufficiently proves that the defendant was at the lobby. What did you do while Conrad was hiding, Nail? Continued on in the passageway while leaving the victim behind. Ended up at the bridge and circled back around to make sure that the coast was clear. When I returned much later, Fletcher was gone. And I had been watching the lobby when the police returned. Assuming you checked the security room? Affirmative. No one was in the lobby. After hiding from you, I must have gone into the sewers. The only way this scenario works is if you freed Fletcher and then went together. Through the passageway, arriving at the bridge. And that's it? I did not see her again until the next morning. Same goes for me. So she escaped with Conrad. This isn't looking good. Processing. Are there any more leads? I'm afraid not. The search yielded nothing. How much did you look? Checked every location related to her. Nail, were you patrolling the bridge? We had a search all over the city, the bridge included. Is this it? Is this where the trail ends? The whole city was on watch, and she died at the bridge. That narrows down the suspects to those near the airport. But that could be me, or Flocking, or Nail, and Ajax, or even me. No matter what, this much is clear. The killer is likely someone standing in this room right now. Okay, as much as this has been just kind of leading us by the hand through some exposition, that moment was pretty cool. The fact that it built up to this, I kind of like. I kind of got dragged by the tail to this point, but now we're here. I believe we need more concrete evidence. So any more to your testimony, Ajax? Just one more part. A while after we had been searching the lobby, I saw Nail in the sewers. What? Don't you remember? It was around 10 p.m. Ah, yes, you're right. That's odd. Why was he surprised just now? Was there anything strange about Prosecutor Nail? Not particularly. He was just searching for Fletcher. If he was in the sewers around 10 p.m., then she must have escaped by then. Let's see, so that's it. 9:30 to 11:30 p.m. Wait, actually, there was one thing that startled me. When I encountered Nail in the sewers, he was holding a sword. Huh? A sword? I'm pretty sure it was the one found near the body. Ah. Uh-oh. If this is true, then it means you visited the crime scene. It is true. I was at the bridge, but I did not commit the crime. Then we need to know why you were there and what you were doing with that sword. After our encounter, Nail told me to turn back to the lobby. Indeed. I was in charge of searching the sewer entrance by the bridge. That's where Fletcher died. Did you encounter the victim while searching? Huh. Huh? Detective? Uh-oh. Everyone hold up. We have a serious issue. What is it now? It's the body. Huh? What about it? The body is missing. What? What do you mean missing? It's gone. But how? How could that happen? Detective, will you keep an eye on the scene? Investigation took a break yesterday night. I was here this morning and no one was on the scene until just now. So you're saying there was a 12-hour gap with no one at the scene? Just a pitiful display. And here I thought you were improving. Processing. Though this turn of events will prove detrimental to our trial, it may have opened up new clues that can further our discussion. Well, I suppose there's one thing odd about the scene. The body removed, my men found something that was underneath the victim. It was a piece of cloth. What? This cloth is covered in the victim's blood and appears to be damaged. Right. Looks like only half of it remains. Blood is easily explained due to it being under the victim, but damage. Prepare to make up for my mistakes. I prepped my own personal analysis on how it ended up that way. That doesn't sound good. I do hope you can redeem yourself, Detective. I'd like to cross-examine this testimony. Very well. Please proceed. Okay. I'm not sure what to make of this. Well, the cloth was clearly held by the victim before her death. Possible she found it in the sewers or something. She probably used it to distract the true culprit, or clean something. Regardless, I think the culprit shot it before she died. What? That would explain why it got severed in half. The bullet went straight through. There. The other half went missing, but Fletcher held on to what it remained until she died. Shot it? Really? That's kind of... That's your analysis? I expected you to let this court down again. Huh? What do you mean? Looks it right in that testimony. The defense will now cross-examine the witness. Do it, Conrad. Yeah, no shit, I can't. He made a fucking obvious mistake. Think the cloth was damaged by a bullet? Yeah, that's a possibility, right? Culprit could have used a gun to shoot it. No, it's not. And that's because the only gun at the scene hadn't fired. Ah, you're right. The gun that was disposed in the fountain previously had been brought to the new crime scene. It didn't fire any new shots. So how could the cloth really get damaged? It's simple. This object was used. There aren't many options here. The sword is the obvious choice. I agree. It was the only bladed item at the scene. Wait, didn't we just hear that nail had the sword at 10 p.m.? Does that mean you were near the victim when she had this cloth? No, you have this all wrong. And explain what you were doing with the sword at 10 p.m. I believe I can help the court understand the situation. Let's start with where the other half of the cloth went. Other half? The cloth was slashed into 2 pieces, but the other half was nowhere to be found. I believe the other half is with someone. Conrad, please show the court who has the other half of this cloth. Probably me? It's me. Huh? You? That's right. It's not a joke this time. The binding's on my hands. The material matches that cloth. I see. So you used the cloth to mend your wounds. But now the sword. How could Cross have cut it? I can explain this as well. The sword was not the only bladed weapon at the scene. There was a knife. More specifically, one that had come from the security room. The security room knife. I took that with me when I found it at the bridge. When I woke up yesterday morning, it was gone. We found it in the sewer passage on the other side of the bridge. Other side? If you'll recall, there were actually 2 sewer entrances in the bridge canal. One of them leads to the airport lobby, but the other is a dead end. It would be the perfect place to hide during a search. So Cross and Fletcher were hiding there while you searched the bridge. During that time, Conrad covered the cuts on his hands with the cloth. He used the security room knife to cut it, but left the knife in the passageway. This further implied that the defendant is guilty. Of freeing Fletcher. Not of killing her. No, wait, it still could have been anyone. After all, since Sarah had the cloth, she was helping me with the wounds. This trial is going nowhere. We need something concrete. If only we had access to the body. The body is missing. We could show the court where it went. Is there any way to find it? Turn your GPS tracking on. Well, I'm stumped. I guess I'll search the airport again. that won't be necessary. What games are you playing now? I know how we can find the body, and you should know too. You can't be serious. The detective probably has a team of skilled officers. Yeah, we can find it. There's no time. The culprit was clearly trying to hide evidence. Finding that body could reveal a major clue. Think about everything I've learned up to this point. Alright, I'll show the court how we can find the body. How do we loop Ace into this? I mean, yeah, maybe this isn't quite that easy. Oh, never mind. GPS implant. There it is. Something about the victim herself. Huh? What do you mean? When I first spoke to Ace, I learned something surprising about Sarah. With the GPS implant. Using GPS, Ace can locate the precise position of anyone with an implant. You're right, even though Fletcher was dead, the GPS will still work. Didn't Ace say that his GPS functions were disabled? Yes, I disabled them before the incident, but Ace said he could turn it back on. That is correct. Ace, please locate Sarah Fletcher. Locating. That was quite impressive, Conrad. Just hope everything works out. Location found. Sarah Fletcher is currently in the parking lot of this building. What? What? Body is here? I'll check outside. It's true. Body's outside. This is an interesting turn of events. Where exactly was it? Was in the back of Nail's truck. Huh. What? But... Nail, are you the killer? No, just wait. It would be interesting if this tied back to the terrorists. And they're playing both sides to derail the justice system. A prosecutor being the killer? A defense attorney being the killer? A defense attorney being accused of murder and the prosecutor being corrupt to cover up his own crime? There's no doubt about it. It's there. Would you care to explain this to the court? Hold on. Yeah, that's right. I shouldn't jump to conclusions so fast. D. Isn't it possible that someone is trying to frame me? They could have put the body in my truck while this trial was ongoing. No, that doesn't seem likely. The body still had wounds. It had been moved in that parking lot. There would be a blood trail leading up to the truck. No such trail existed. Possible that the blood was cleaned up. Do you really think they would have had the time to do that near a court of law? There are officers and guards everywhere. And they really had to carry the body in a protective case. It was underneath a tarp. See, they curated the tarp. The tarp was barely stained. In addition, it was only on top of the body, not beneath. So it was only used to cover the back of the truck. So that means I drove here with the body already in the back. Why are you so surprised? The most likely suspect for this is you. Hold on, let's not rush into this. The body was moved sometime between last night and this morning. Was Neil ever at the crime scene? Yes, he was. I saw him there yesterday. Must have been one of the last to leave, correct? That's right. That doesn't mean anything. It definitely does. Could have moved it when no one was looking. But my truck was parked near the canal. How could I move the body from under the bridge to my truck? I believe I know the answer. This will explain how the body was moved to your truck. Big ass crane. Bob the Builder did it. Except the crossover. Go in the opposite direction now. There was construction going on next to the bridge. You don't mean... The body was moved using the crane. Someone simply had to operate the crane to pick up the body. It could be moved to the side of the bridge, where Nail's truck was parked. But anyone could have done that. You were one of the last ones at the crime scene. And Conrad certainly couldn't have used the crane. He was at the detention center during the investigation. She's right. At the very least, this should prove Conrad's innocence. Huh. A likely story. There's still one thing we have to determine. Was Nail really at the right place to have killed the victim? Yes! He was at the canal during the time of Fletcher's death. And he had the sword. Quite. You know that Cross was trying to help Fletcher escape. Only makes sense that Nail encountered those two and fought them. Prosecutor Nail, you will tell this court what happened. Very well, but I can't disclose information about my organization. I'd like to cross-examine this testimony. Oh yeah? Alright. That is acceptable. Please, prosecutor, please take the stand. Oh boy. Now we're getting into it. Huh, treated as a mere criminal. Please tell us if you encountered the victim or defendant during the incident. And be sure to give details of what occurred. It's true, I ran into Conrad and Fletcher under the bridge. But they seemed out of it. They both seemed not in the right mind, desperate to escape the search party. I threatened to take them both into custody, but they held me at gunpoint. Conrad had taken the pistol that was in the fountain and brought it to the bridge. At that time I was carrying the sword, so they had me drop it. But I realized something wasn't right. The weapon was not functional. After all, it had been found in a fountain for days. I assumed correctly and tried to overpower Conrad with force, but he fought back. In the end, I fled back to the airport lobby to bring reinforcements. Right before that, I noticed something very strange. Fletcher was on the ground. In the heat of the moment, I didn't understand why. Must have been injured by our duel. Regardless, Conrad stabbed her with a sword while she was prone, killing her. It was an act so unimaginable, they had to reconsider everything. In the end, I decided to keep silent about my encounter. Well. I can't. Prosecutor, is what you say really true? Unfortunately, it is. This can't be right. There has to be a way to prove him wrong. There's a couple of things I don't understand. You mentioned that you had the sword with you. How did you get it? I found it on the floor when I searched the bridge canal earlier. I picked it up, as it might have been vital evidence. I was bringing it to the lobby when I ran into Ajax. That explains why he saw me. As I realized he had already covered the sewer passage, I simply turned around. So you were checking the bridge a second time. Why did you tell anyone that you saw me and Fletcher? In the end, I doubted what I saw. I decided that I would go through the proper channels to seek justice. And also, I wanted to give you a chance to defend your actions. She seemed insistent on framing me as the culprit. Conrad, I know he's lying. To go back through it and prove him wrong. This is it. The final challenge. Just need to stick the nail in the coffin, so to speak. It lies in here, nail, because something doesn't add up. Is this really the final testimony? Now, just to be safe. I feel like we want to do this. Just see if this is it. Yep. Just made a bold claim, Nail. What you said wasn't right. Just what about that was wrong? You killed Fletcher. End of story. It's not that simple. Because of the bloodstains. Bloodstains? You claimed that I stabbed Fletcher while she was prone, right? Explain to me how there was blood under the body at the crime scene. What? The stab wound was in the stomach, so if she was on the ground, the wound would have been facing upwards. In other words, no blood would have been underneath her, just above. Ah, but... Oh. She was stabbed in the back. But could the blood have traveled underneath her? Claimed that she died on the spot. Then she would have been lifeless. There would have been no room for the blood to flow freely. What if the blade passed through her stomach and caused a wound on her back? Now, come on, you know that. It's not possible either, and this evidence proves it. The autopsy report states very clearly. There was no exit wound. Ugh. So why did you lie, Nail? What are you hiding? I know why. It's because Nail is the culprit. No, you have this wrong. To the point here, you were at the scene of the crime. You had the sword and a motive to kill Fletcher. Ah, you have to understand I didn't do it. Hold on, just let me think. No, Conrad, I've had enough. Nail is clearly the killer. And why didn't any evidence point to him before? Look at him, he's always wearing gloves. Wouldn't leave any fingerprints. Since he was the lead investigator, nobody questioned his authority. He had free rein to tamper with the crime scene. Let's run this case through one last time. It started when I confronted Nail on the roof of that building. He told me Sarah was being moved from her holding cell. That's why he wanted to find and intercept their convoy. So he moved to the dining hall parking lot so you could steal the van. And I drove the van to my office where I collected several things. A blank pistol, the tripod, Gardner's keys, and the spear. I took them all to Flower's office. That's when he set up the van to look like a bomb threat was in progress. This stopped the convoy, allowing you to fire the pistol remotely. I used the distraction to steal the vehicle Sarah was held in. After knocking out a guard with a spear, and I drove the vehicle to the town center. Meanwhile, I received a mysterious call. Thorne, welcome back! I figured I would help this court once again. The question remains, who made that call? Ace, your records were wiped until after the incident. The phone records should still have been made by carrier companies. You are correct. I have already analyzed the data and confirmed. that my system was used to make the call to Prince Thorn. Huh? Your system? That's what I thought. I was the one that made that call. You? What, I ran into you later? I was faking not knowing about the situation. I likely wanted to avoid detection, so I had you help Fletcher escape. I used Ace's functions to modulate my voice. I see. So I took Fletcher's vehicle to the airport and tied her hands with rope. And when I called the culprit, that was you as well. Negative. I have just confirmed that the second call was redirected. Redirected? Then where was it sent? I cannot seem to find a record of that. The Thorn? Oh, I mean to Nail? Redirected, so when Thorn called Ace again, he was actually speaking to... I have evidence I can help point this out. I know who Thorn ended up calling. Just look through the evidence one more time, I can line this up. Ajax. Jump the testimony we had earlier. Are you serious? Ajax? Ajax testified that he received a call from the culprit before Fletcher arrived. It wasn't the culprit, it was Thorn. Ah, I understand. My call was redirected to Ajax, and both ends of the line were modulated. That is a possibility. My programming allows for such a thing to happen. Yeah. I mean, I guess if he was calling back an unknown number... Still some weird phone routing. But it makes sense. It also explains why the person on the other end was confused. So Thorn called Ajax, and which caused him to get Nail. In that short moment when Ajax left the lobby, Thorn moved Sarah. Huh. So then when I went back to the bridge, where I found you. And together we moved back to the lobby. By the time you returned, Nail had taken Fletcher to the sewers. So I hid in the security room and waited for Ajax to pass. Cut my hand while crawling through the window and chased after Sarah. Ah, but you grabbed the gun and the sword on your way out. Meanwhile, Nail had cut the rope that tied Fletcher's hands and gone ahead. Used an opportunity to meet up with her and hide in the passage on the other side. So when Fletcher helped mend your wounds, kept the other half of the cloth. Wait a moment. Nail found the sword in the bridge canal. Then I must have dropped it before hiding. So he picked it up while searching, thinking it would be evidence. That's when he ran into Ajax. This is when the true incident really happened. Me and Sarah tried to escape, but we ran into Nail after the bridge canal. You guys must have fought, and Nail had the sword. That's when he stabbed Fletcher. That has to be it. Sorry, Nail. There's no other explanation. There's the question of how they got out of the canal. There wasn't any blood found in the passageway, right? He escaped the scene, leaving the weapon behind. But wait, why were you there until the next day? And how did you lose your memory? I believe I can explain this. Witnessing the death of Fletcher must have been incredibly difficult on Cross. Under times of duress, it's possible for the brain to block out unwanted memories. Huh? So, self-induced memory loss? It's a rare occurrence, but it is possible when a traumatic event happens. Are you absolutely sure? The prosecutor is correct. Someone who blocks out unwanted memories would have a hard time recalling anything near or around the event. This actually happens on a much smaller scale for most people. Things that we don't care about or don't like will fall out of our memory naturally. Then will Conrad be okay? The process is reversible, but it will take time. See, Thorn's taking my side. So Conrad was passed out due to distress. Nail kept quiet about the incident, waited for the police to find Fletcher. Then shortly before the trial, he moved the body to confuse the investigation. Why would he put it in his own car? I don't think Nail's fully guilty. You tried to blame it all on Conrad. I don't think Nail's fully guilty here. He's fairly guilty, but not fully guilty. He's like Conrad levels of guilty. No, wait! You can't do this. I always figured you were a criminal, Nail. You were alleged to the prosecutor back in the day, and perhaps this crime was warranted. After all, Fletcher was an armed and dangerous criminal. But unfortunately, you must be punished for your actions. Agreed. We will now call a vote on the defendant's verdict. We have discussed everything. This is unfair. Don't you understand who I am? Who I work for? We understand quite well, and your organization cannot overstep its bounds. Crimes must not go unpunished. Call them right now. Explain the situation, they'll understand. Please, they can override this. Not in this court, and not in any court you will face in the future. I shall end this here while you can still answer for your deeds. Now, Counselor Woodsman, the verdict on the defendant's guilt. Not guilty? How? Come on, we can do this. And Crawford. This is a tough decision. Please, listen, you can't end this here. You can't. Okay. Not guilty. Then it's decided, but I believe the defendant has a right to know my vote as well. Alright. I did it? On the charge of murder, we find the defendant innocent. But it is cleared of all charges. Yes, Conrad! I knew we could do it. You're one smart defense attorney. During the incident, it appears you've committed several other crimes, such as theft and assault on the convoy guards. But those matters shall be tried in a different court. For now, you are free to go. Please put Prosecutor Nail in restraints. We will determine his sentence at a later hearing. Thank you all for assisting in this test run of the autonomous case evaluation. Court is dismissed. Is that really it? Is that really it? Is that really it?